The Los Angeles Lakers were on the verge of dropping another home game Tuesday night, this time to the struggling New Orleans Pelicans, but head coach JJ Redick's squad summoned something that had been missing for months: a late game comeback. The Lakers trailed by 8 points midway through the fourth quarter before going on a jaw-dropping 24-7 run to close out the game, winning 110-101 at Crypto.com Arena and securing their third consecutive victory. It was not pretty. It was not dominant. But it was exactly the type of win this team desperately needed at this stage of the season. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Coach JJ Redick was candid after the game, noting that this kind of come-from-behind victory had been absent from the Lakers' playbook since the early part of the season. The team started the year on fire, going 15-4 and regularly erasing double-digit deficits in the second half. That resilience had faded over time, costing Los Angeles several winnable games. Tuesday night, it finally came roaring back. Frankly, that's not a win we've had since probably November, where we're down late, Redick said after the game. A lot of those early wins when we started 15-4, we had a number of double-digit deficits in the second half and just stuck with it and kept playing. It was a good win for our group to be able to do that again. Redick made clear, however, that the job is far from finished. The Lakers are still a work in progress, and while confidence is building, the coaching staff understands that consistency must follow. We're a work in progress, but I'm confident that we will eventually get to a good space, he added. So what went wrong early, and what ultimately turned the tide? Redick pointed to multiple factors. The offense was choppy for large stretches, partly due to turnovers, and partly because the Pelicans threw 5 or 6 different defensive coverages at Los Angeles throughout the game. When a defense changes schemes, that frequently it disrupts offensive timing, limits advantages, and forces players into uncomfortable situations they have not prepared for. The Lakers visibly struggled to find their rhythm during these sequences. New Orleans forward Zion Williamson, who has had well-documented defensive limitations throughout his career, was sharp on that end of the floor. He disrupted several of the Lakers' sets when New Orleans switched to a switching group defense and made Los Angeles work incredibly hard for every single bucket. Redick acknowledged the challenge Williamson presented, saying the big man had a tremendous defensive performance and contributed heavily to the Lakers stalling offensively during certain key stretches of the game. It was not what many had expected from him heading into the night. Still, the Lakers stayed competitive, and when it mattered most, the right players made the right plays at the right moments. Marcus Smart hit a massive three-pointer that ignited the crowd. Luke Kennard found an open corner 3 in transition during the comeback run. Austin Reeves converted a crucial triple to swing the momentum firmly in Los Angeles' favor. Dončić, who has been the primary engine of this offense all season, posted up, drew fouls, and then delivered the knockout blow and a deep three-pointer late in the game that effectively closed the door on any Pelicans comeback attempt. The contributions were spread across the entire roster. All 5 starters finished in double figures, a sign of the offensive balance that this team has often lacked when the ball gets stuck in isolation. Jackson Hayes and Luke Kennard were both effective off the bench, giving Redick reliable rotation options on a night when production was needed from multiple sources at critical moments. The win came with a collective team-first mentality that had been noticeably absent during the team's difficult midseason stretch. Redick praised what he described as the physicality plays, the loose balls fought for, the hand activity on defense, and the hustle moments that often go unnoticed in a box score but ultimately decide close NBA games. Those are the plays that championship caliber teams make, and the Lakers made them when it counted most on Tuesday night. The bigger picture here is all about momentum. 3 wins in a row is not a title, but it represents meaningful movement in the right direction. The Lakers find themselves in a legitimate playoff race in the ultra-competitive Western Conference, and staying healthy, staying sharp, and building on performances like Tuesday's will be absolutely essential down the stretch of this season. Winning ugly is still winning, and right now, Los Angeles will gladly take it. The team still has difficult road ahead with a brutal schedule to close the year, but this comeback victory showed the Lakers are capable of rising to the occasion when everything is on the line. The Lakers' next challenge is a road trip to Denver on Thursday to face the Nuggets, a game that takes on even greater significance given the standings picture. Los Angeles sits 6th in the Western Conference, less than a game behind Denver for 5th place, and within striking distance of moving even higher. Every game from here forward matters immensely. The comeback victory against New Orleans sent a clear message across the league. The Lakers are not done, and they are not going quietly. If they can sustain this level of urgency and competitive spirit, the kind that fuels 24-7 runs in the fourth quarter, there is no telling how far this group can go before the regular season concludes. The foundation, as Reic himself put it, is being rebuilt one gritty win at a time. The Los Angeles Lakers pulled off a third straight victory on Tuesday night, defeating the New Orleans Pelicans 110-101. But while the win was cause for celebration in Los Angeles, a troubling storyline emerged from the game that could have serious consequences for the team's playoff ambitions. Star guard Dončić picked up his 14th technical foul of the season, putting him just 2 away from an automatic 1-game suspension under NBA rules. The technical came with less than 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Dončić had just made a free throw and gestured toward a referee in apparent frustration. It was a split-second reaction, one that has become a recurring theme throughout his career. Referees responded with a technical, and suddenly the number that had been growing quietly all season became impossible to ignore. At 14 technicals, Dončić is now only behind Phoenix Suns forward Dillon Brooks, who leads the league with 16, making Dončić one of the most whistled players in the entire NBA this season. The timing could not be worse for the Lakers. With only 21 regular season games remaining, Los Angeles is in the thick of a Western Conference playoff race that offers no margin for error. The team currently sits in 6th place, trailing the Denver Nuggets by just half a game for the 5th seed. But more urgently, the Lakers are only 2 games ahead of the 7th-seeded Phoenix Suns, which means that slipping into the play-in tournament is a very real danger if results go against them. One suspension for Dončić, the team's undisputed offensive leader and best player, could be the difference between seeding positions or even between avoiding or entering the play-in entirely. The schedule ahead of Los Angeles is brutally unforgiving. The final 21 games include matchups against the Denver Nuggets twice, the New York Knicks, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Houston Rockets twice, the Detroit Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Oklahoma City Thunder twice, and the Phoenix Suns. Several other opponents are also above 500 on the season, including the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, and the Golden State Warriors. It is the kind of gauntlet that would test even the most complete and healthy roster. Missing Dončić for any portion of that stretch would be a significant blow. Dončić has been nothing short of extraordinary this season from a production standpoint. He is averaging a league-best 32.4 points per game, placing him at the top of the NBA scoring charts. He ranks 3rd in the league with 8.6 assists per game and adds 7.7 rebounds while shooting 47.3% from the field and 35.9% from three-point range. For a player of his size and skill set, those numbers are exceptional across the board. Since the All-Star break, his shooting from beyond the arc has been on an entirely different level. In 7 post-break games, Dončić is shooting a scorching 44.9% from three-point range. He has knocked down at least 4 three-pointers in 5 of those 7 contests, including a stunning 8 made three-pointers in a 125-122 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers on February 20th. The concern then is not with Dončić's basketball ability, it is with his temperament. He has long been one of the most expressive players in the league, never shy about voicing his displeasure with officiating in real time. Veteran media personality Suzy Schuster described him colorfully as the complaint department, and it is always open. The phrase captures something that every opponent, referee, and Lakers fan understands by this point in the season. Dončić argues calls frequently, reacts visibly to perceived missed fouls, and communicates his frustration loudly and physically on the court. Usually it costs him nothing but a stern glance from a referee, but at 14 technicals, every confrontation with an official now carries the weight of potential consequences. The Lakers are finally playing some of their best basketball of the season. The offense has shown signs of the balance and efficiency that was expected when the roster was assembled. LeBron James has scored 20 or more points in each game during the current winning streak and in 5 of the last 6 games overall, a sign that he is finding his best form at the ideal time. The challenge for Los Angeles is sustaining this momentum for 2 more months without losing their most irreplaceable piece to a suspension that could have easily been avoided with more composure at the foul line. The message from the organization going forward is clear. Dončić must find a way to compete with full intensity while keeping his technical foul count under control. 2 more technical fouls means 1 game without the team's best player. And in a conference race this tight, that is a price the Lakers simply cannot afford to pay. Beyond the immediate concern about suspension, this situation raises a broader question about leadership and self-discipline on a team with genuine playoff aspirations. Great players in big moments find ways to channel competitive fire without giving opponents or officials any extra ammunition. Dončić, at just 27 years old and in his first full season with the Lakers, has all the tools to be one of the most dominant postseason performers in the NBA. But getting to the postseason and staying there requires the kind of mental discipline that goes beyond scoring averages and shooting percentages. The next 21 games will tell the league a great deal about whether Luka Dončić has fully matured into that player. While the Los Angeles Lakers are focused on navigating the final stretch of the regular season and securing a strong playoff position, the organization is simultaneously beginning to think about what comes next. The upcoming offseason is shaping up to be one of the most consequential in recent franchise history, and at the center of the conversation is Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Lakers have reportedly been preparing an aggressive pursuit of the two-time league MVP, who could potentially be available via trade this summer. However, a new report from a prominent NBA insider suggests that two significant obstacles may ultimately prevent Los Angeles from landing the Greek freak. Bleacher Report's Eric Pincus recently published a detailed breakdown of the factors surrounding Antetokounmpo's potential availability and the team's best position to acquire him. According to Pincus, the Lakers face two specific structural challenges that work against them in any pursuit of the Bucks forward. The first obstacle is geographic. There is growing chatter in NBA circles, according to Pincus, that Antetokounmpo has a preference for the East Coast. This is not purely about lifestyle. It is also about proximity to his home country of Greece. East Coast cities are significantly closer to Europe, both in terms of flight time and time zone differences. For a player who maintains deep roots in Greece and travels there regularly during the offseason, living and competing on the West Coast would represent a meaningful sacrifice in terms of staying connected to his family and homeland. The Lakers, of course, are based in Los Angeles, about as far from Greece as any NBA city can be. The second obstacle may carry even more weight in basketball terms. Multiple sources indicate that Antetokounmpo misses the dynamic he had in Milwaukee during the team's championship era, particularly playing alongside teammates like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, both of whom excelled in complementary roles that allowed Antetokounmpo to be the primary ball handler and decision maker on offense. The concern is that joining the Lakers would mean sharing offensive responsibilities with Luka Dončić, who is himself one of the most ball-dominant lead guards in the entire league. This is not a small issue. Throughout his career in Milwaukee, Antetokounmpo built his offensive game around having the ball in his hands, driving toward the basket, and making decisions from a position of control. His partnership with Damian Lillard this season demonstrated the complications that arise when two primary offensive hubs try to share one basketball. The Bucks' offense never fully unlocked the potential of having two elite scorers, largely because their styles overlapped in ways that created congestion rather than spacing. A pairing with Dončić in Los Angeles could face similar challenges. That said, the Lakers are not without options. Dončić has shown some capacity to adjust his role depending on the talent around him. His partnership with Kyrie Irving in Dallas provided evidence that he can operate effectively when another high-usage guard is on the floor. Irving, however, was uniquely suited to playing alongside Dončić, given his experience sharing ball-handling duties with LeBron James in Cleveland and with Kevin Durant and James Harden in Brooklyn. Irving knew intuitively how to complement rather than compete with a co-star. LeBron James, now in the later stages of his career, has also shown willingness to let Dončić operate as the primary ball handler, ceding some control that younger versions of James would have been less likely to relinquish. For the Lakers to have any real shot at convincing Antetokounmpo to join them, they would need to present a compelling vision of how his role would look alongside Dončić, and they would need Giannis to genuinely believe in that vision. The front office would also need to assemble the supporting cast, salary cap flexibility, and draft pick packages necessary to make a trade offer competitive enough for Milwaukee to accept. The situation is fluid. The Bucks and Antetokounmpo have not publicly confirmed any desire to separate, and the summer trade market has yet to formally open. But the Lakers are clearly planning ahead, and the questions being raised now about fit, geography, and playing style are exactly the kind of complications that can derail seemingly promising pursuits before they ever truly begin. For Lakers fans dreaming of a Dončić-Antetokounmpo partnership in Los Angeles, the road ahead appears considerably more complicated than the excitement of the rumor might suggest. The Lakers front office is well aware of these hurdles. Team executives understand that in today's NBA, star players have more power over their destinations than ever before. Salary cap space and draft assets may be necessary, but they are rarely sufficient on their own. Personal preference, comfort, and vision for winning all factor into a superstar's decision-making process. Los Angeles will need more than a lucrative offer. We will need to convince one of the greatest players of his generation that a partnership with Dončić in Southern California represents his best path toward another championship. Whether that case can be made convincingly remains the central question heading into what could be a franchise-defining offseason for the Los Angeles Lakers.